Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first edition of Superstar SEO Q&A. I am your host, Internet Marketing Superstar Chris M. Walker. And in this video, I'm going to be using a lazy approach to creating content and answering your questions. We're going to be talking about my hair, what I do in my spare time, how to do a proper proposal, how to lightbox your site for a ranking ret strategy, video marketing, and a whole bunch of other great stuff. So get strapped in, get ready, and let's get to the answers.
So you want to be a rock superstar and live large, big house, 5 cars, you're in charge.
All right, so we're going to start things off with our first question, and that is, how do you keep your hair so luscious? Like, damn bro, got me jelly. Well, I'm going to take this obviously sarcastic question and give it a completely serious answer, and the answer is genetics. Grandpa Superstar had an amazing head of hair even at 93 years old when he passed away, so thank you for that. Okay. Next question. Have you ever used local video SEO as a foot in the door, or do you just use them for pay-per-call? Yes, I have. In fact, in my course, in the Elite section, I have an example of how you can go about that. But basically, yeah, it's a great way to show the potential client that you can do something for them, like something easy, and then you just upsell them into SEO or social media or whatever else is you offer that's more high value after you've made them into a customer and earned their trust. So yes, that's the answer to that. This may be too long for just a Q&A, but can you go over how you would do rank and rent? Okay, so you just approach it like you would any other local site. So you pick a term. I don't know. The one that Gregory Ortiz always used was, I want to say it was Boston chiropractor, and you just rank for it. You know, like you would anything else, PBN, social signals, the whole deal. And then you just use a Lightbox plugin like the one that Alan Leanhouse has on his site, or you can use Source CCS or whatever else that you prefer, and you just Lightbox the site over it when you, once you make a sale. So that's how you do that. We can go into more detail in that specifically if you want at some point, but that's basically the gist of it. Just rank it like you would any other site, and then Lightbox it over when you get a client. All right. Where I run a pest control company, would you advise that I try and link to other pest controllers' websites? I have a lot of friends in the same industry, and they would be willing to swap a link, but I'm not sure if it's a good idea or not. What I wouldn't do is link to competitors for obvious reasons, because one, the relevance from your site will help boost their ranking, and two, you just might drive them to somebody else's site. So no, I wouldn't do it that way. If it's somebody in like a different area that you don't compete with, then I think it can be helpful because it's a niche relevant link that you'd be getting. So it just depends on the situation. So yes, if it's somebody that's not a competitor, no if it's not. Okay, next question. If you could give page speed a percentage of overall SEO importance, what would it be? Place your bets. I'm really intrigued. 3, maybe. It's, as far as ranking, it's very little importance. You're going to have quote unquote white hat SEOs tell you that it's super important, and Google will tell you it's important, but I could get an absolute terrible loading website up to number 1 without any problem. That said, it is important from like a user experience standpoint. So I'm not telling you to ignore it by any stretch of the imagination, but the question was overall SEO importance, and SEO means optimizing your website to get Google ranking or search engine ranking. And as far as that goes, I don't find it to be of much importance at all. Can you give some insight into how to rank parasites? Okay, so a parasite, for those that don't know, is taking a high domain authority, and by domain authority, I don't necessarily mean the Moz metric. I mean a site that is just naturally powerful because of its whatever, the amount of content on it or whatever it is. So, and then using that to get a ranking more easily by suctioning off its power, hence parasite. What I would do is write a nice, first of all, let's look at it 2 different ways. Video is a parasite, basically, and if you know anything about me, you can learn more about video ranking. And then for like a website type thing, what I would do is just get like a Weebly or a Blogspot or something like that, and just get a nice, well-optimized article, and then just assault it with like some 2012 SEO. And what I mean by that is just some SAPE and some SynWire and some GSA, and just really, even PBN links, you can really pound it with high power stuff, and that you can't get away with like a traditional website. And that's the advantage of doing parasite SEO. The downside is that you don't you don't control it. You're on somebody else's property, so it could get shut down. Some of them, they don't look as nice. You don't have as much flexibility in design. And then some of them just will not rank. Like, I can't tell you that I've ever seen a Tumblr or a Weebly on page 1. So the trick is to find ones that Google isn't really aware of yet. And they seem to kind of ignore those. I have another video on my channel about meetup.com where Google seems to like rewarding those with ranking. And then there's, I don't know, I can't think of any other examples, but until they're Teespring used to work this way, but they're kind of getting wise to that now. But the point is, that some of them will fly under Google's radar. So try to find some, I want to say, obscure ones, and then just optimize a good article or two, and then just absolutely assault it with powerful links. So I hope that answers that. Many of my SEO prospects need a new website. Any recommended course for the sales side of websites? How can I outsource that? I actually don't have a good answer for the sale, like a course on how to sell websites. I don't even know where to point you on that, but how can I outsource it? Outsourcing web design is super easy. You can just go to upwork.com, or that's the main one that I know of, but I know there are others as well. And you can find some really good web developers for a fairly reasonable price. So just search around or post a job, and just do that. And then what you can do is build a relationship with one of them once you find one that you're happy with and you can communicate with, and then just send him all the web design work you get. And it works well that way, because that way it's off your plate, and it's a fluid system that you have in place. As far as selling them, though, I don't have an answer for you on that. I'm sorry. Do you think that serious spokesmodel videos work good, or do the animated cartoon style work better, and why? If you can get a good actor or spokesperson in to do your video, I think those will do well, as long as it doesn't come off like they're actors. So, for example, you would want it to seem like they were, suppose it was, I don't know, an accountant business that you were trying to make one for. You would want it to seem like the person speaking actually worked in the business and wasn't just an actor or a pitch man. That said, that would be really time consuming and probably expensive. So I prefer animated and things of that nature, because they're easier to produce. They've been proven to convert well, and it's just less expensive and less time intensive, and they do work. So there's that. What I don't find work as well are the whiteboard ones, the ones where I actually show someone drawing out the video. I feel like that's one of those things that we in the industry think work well, but actually doesn't work all that well. So I try to stay away from those. I like the animated ones, spokesperson ones I use sometimes. And then I can't remember the name of the program, but the ones where it uses like live clips to make a video out of it, those work pretty well too. What is your thoughts on ranking video for affiliate marketing? It works well. There again, though, you don't want to come across like someone that is reviewing a product just to sell it to somebody and get an affiliate commission. What I've found that works well is use it yourself, tell a story, and then relate it to how you come up with a problem and say that and I'm putting you in quotes, meaning the person in the video have that problem, and then find a product and say, what really helped me get through this problem was this product. So something like that. I'm trying to think of a good example. Like, suppose you had high cholesterol, and you talk about how you had high cholesterol and it affected your health. You didn't spend time with your family. You didn't have as much energy. You had heart problems. And then you were looking online and you found this product and it really gave you some great advice. And I just wanted to share it with you too, because I think it can really help you the way that it helped me. You see how I changed the tone of my voice there too? You want it to connect with people and then put them in pain that you're in pain, like the pain that you're in, and then give them a solution to that problem. And video works really well for that, and that's a great way to use it for affiliate marketing. So hopefully that helps answer that question. If you lost it all tomorrow, what would you start back with? I don't know that I'm even qualified to answer this question, because I don't feel like I'm successful enough to feel like I have that much to lose. But I guess the question is, what you're probably really asking is, what would I do differently? And I'm not really sure. I would do a lot of the same things I did. I would start by selling microservices. I'd probably have to get a job in the meantime, and I would just work in every spare moment, just like I did in quote unquote real life, what I would start doing sooner would be collecting my customers, meaning I would find a way to continue to communicate and get to know them personally like I've done, and that whether that be email or social media or whatever. The first couple of years that I was doing various SEO things, whether it was affiliate or client or services like I do, I completed the sale, and that was like a lot of times the last time I had touch with them. And where I've been able to really scale and grow is by either like continuing to give them value and finding a way to stay in touch with them. And if I would have done that from the beginning, I'd have a much bigger customer base now, and I would continue to do that. So if I lost it all, I would get a job. I'd start doing the exact same things over, but I would be more, I don't want to say aggressive because that sounds kind of negative, but I would be more diligent about maintaining my list as an asset. And then once you have an asset like that, you don't really ever get into a situation where you have to start over again. So hopefully that answers that. Do you have a family? If so, or even not, what do you do with your time when not on the computer? By family, I'm assuming you mean wife and kids and that sort of thing. And excuse me, I do not have a family at this time in that regard. I do have, my mother and my brother and things like that. I don't spend that much time away from the computer, to be honest. It's something I'm actually actively working on right now. But I do work out 4 to 6 times a week. That helps keep me positive and helps keep me from becoming unhealthy. And that's something I enjoy doing. Every year I'm a big professional wrestling fan. So when I go on vacation, I go to watch WrestleMania with some friends of mine. And that's really cool because it gives me a chance to travel around, and it's in a different place every year, if you don't know. So it gives me a chance to go to a different place in the United States every year. So that's really fun. I'm working on actively going out and being more social and meeting some people. And then another thing I'm really looking into doing is becoming like a big brother for some kids that need help, because I think that's something I would enjoy and something that might really help some people. So that's something I'm looking at doing. But for the most part, I spend probably 12 to 16 hours a day on my business, because that's what really drives me, what really keeps me passionate and things like that. And I'm going to get off on a bit of a tangent here, but I have kind of a mantra that is one bad day. It takes everything I've done and everything I've built, and which isn't that much, but it's still something I'm proud of, is it can all go away in one bad day. All my clients could fire me, all my customers could stop buying from me, and it could just go away. So I always use that to motivate myself and continue to working, continue to expand, and to continue to give back to the people that have given so much to me. So that's another way that's part of the reason why I don't have a great answer to this question, is because I spend most of my time, I don't want to say on the computer, but on my business, and it doesn't leave a ton of time for the rest of the stuff, but I am working actively to make a better balance of that. So hopefully that answers that question for you. Are pingbacks good for WP blogs as far as ranking, or should they be disengaged? I'd probably disengage them. I don't think it makes much difference one way or the other, but it could be kind of a footprint type of thing. I really don't know that for sure, but there isn't any value to doing them, so I would just turn them off. What overlay software do you use? Do you have any clue what SERPtech is doing to index mass pages so quickly? Overlay software, if you want something free, I recommend going to alanleanhouse.com and downloading his plugin. Works really well, and it's free. If you want something a little more sophisticated that you can do more sites with and have some other options with, I recommend SourceWave's product, Source CCS. That works really well once you get the hang of it. I like both of those, so that's the main thing there. And I'm not really sure what SERPtech is. I think that might be another mass page site that came out a while back, but I remember thinking it was outrageously priced, so I haven't used it, so I don't have an answer for you. But my guess is they're probably lying, and that they don't index any easier than anybody else does. So there you go. I was also curious if you point a PBN at just one money site or multiple. Okay, so what you can do is create multiple posts on one PBN and point them to multiple money sites. What you don't want to do, and I call this the Ghostbusters rule, is cross the streams. Meaning, if you have PBN1 and PBN2, you can point them to multiple money sites, but not the same money site. So if PBN1 points to money site 1, you wouldn't want PBN2 to also, and let me start that over. If you have PBN1 pointing to money site 1 and money site 2, you could point PBN2 to either money site 1 or 2, but not both. And then PBN 3, you could point to the other one. So basically, you don't want to continue to post to the same money sites from all your PBNs, because that's obviously a huge footprint. But yes, you can absolutely point to multiple money sites from one PBN. I need some help on my programming channel on YouTube. Okay, I think we've talked about this a bit before, but there are a couple things I would do. The first is start putting out like short, bite-sized type videos where you, how do I uninstall Mac from my, I don't know, I can't think of a good IT example at the moment. How do I run a virus scan on my Mac because it sucks? Make that as the title of your video, and then give people a solution to it. The obvious solution to that one is to get rid of your Mac and get a man's computer. But anyway, we won't get off on that tangent. But my point is just make these quick videos that provide a little bit of info for people. It's something that they'll find helpful. That'll get them to subscribe to you, and then you can make longer pieces of content that are kind of like your main show. And then you want to try to be a little bit entertaining, but also provide some value. And then once you've established yourself there, you can start running some YouTube ads to those same people that watch your videos. And that's when you can start making some money. So assuming that making money is your goal. So hopefully that answers your question. How to do a proper proposal. Nobody teaches it, and it's the most important part of the business. So what I like to do is buy a nice diamond ring instead of romantic. Oh, that's not what you meant. Hold on. A little comedy there. This is kind of a tough one to answer because, in my opinion, it varies from client to client, or well, I guess prospect to prospect. I adjust my proposal based on the conversations I've had with that person, and fit it to what we talked about and what I think that they're concerned about. Then I outline the problem to them. The problem being that they're not ranking, or they're not getting traffic, or whatever it may be. And then I provide them how I'm going to solve it for them. And then I don't usually give them the price in the proposal unless that's kind of the point you're at. I do what I call like an action plan or something to that effect. So basically, think about what you talked about with that person, highlight their problem, agitate the problem, and tell them that how you're going to provide them a solution. And by that point, you've already convinced them. And the price is just nominal at that point if you've done your job properly. If you're looking for a nice template, go on Facebook and look for the group Digital Marketing Questions, I think it's called. Ryan Stewart has a nice couple of templates in there. He does a great job. I really like his operation. So, yeah, you can find some good templates in there if you want to get an idea of how to go about using those. So, next question. Can you map out how you scaled your SEO business from various SEO income sources? Okay, so this is kind of a broad one. My biggest sources I have right now are my services, which is Conquer and a couple of other places that I sell on. And the way I scaled that was a couple of different things. One is I figured out what people don't like to do, and I offered to do it for them. So basically, you're selling them time. And what I mean by that is there's parts of every business that everyone hates to do. So if you offer that to people, they'll come to you and they'll buy it. Then, of course, you do a great job and you continue to talk to that person and you continue to grow your reputation and get more people coming back to you and get them recommending other people to come to you. And it just snowballs from there. And if you can get an influencer in that industry to help you, then to endorse you, that really helps a lot too. As far as my agency, I did my first client for free. And then he helped me get a foot in the door to some other businesses and things like that. So that was really helpful. And then after a while, though, I found that I was not getting the kind of clients I wanted by doing outreach. So I don't do a ton of that anymore. What I do is I rank my site and I use my current client base to get people to come to me. And I put as much content and things like that out there possible. So I'm constantly in people's faces. And by in their face, that sounds kind of bad, but you can't look around I try to make it to where you can't look around the community without finding out about me. So be everywhere. That's something I get from Grant Cardone. It's funny I bring that up today because I went on a whole thing about that earlier, but he talks about having content out there on every channel all the time. So be in as many places as you can. Position yourself as an expert, even when you don't know something. Like, present it in a way that you can either do know it. I'm not saying lie, but give an answer that makes it sound like even if you have to go figure it out later. So be in front of people, let them come to you. You'll get a better type of clientele if you're doing client. Affiliate, honestly, that's just fun for me. I'll have an idea for a site, I'll create some content, throw some links at it, and you usually rank. It's not a huge part of my income, but it is a reliable part. So, and I don't really have a great answer on how to scale that. Just keep doing more of it. That's the main three parts of my business. I'm just getting into product creation, and I think that's going to be big for me because I enjoy it. That's obviously key, is to do something you enjoy. And that's about it. Hopefully that answers that question for you. And there you have it. That's our first episode of Superstar SEO Q&A. If you like this kind of video, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be putting more effort into growing my channel. And I'll probably do more videos like this because I think people like it and it gives me a chance to talk about a variety of topics. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Again, subscribe and I'll talk to you soon. Have a great one.